All right, so we're still week 10 here in data visualization, and this is going to be the instructions for assignment 4, which is going to be your story map constructed with ArcGIS. So you can see here in the week 10 folder, this weekly content, you can see here, note, the dashboard and story map you produce from this exercise are the deliverables for assignment 4. Please go to the assignment folder for more specific details regarding what's expected. So obviously, when we go in here, we get a Google Drive link that takes us to these videos. You're going to go through those on your own. I can help you with any questions you have, but Jasmine does a really good job of walking you through, and she works at Esri for ArcGIS, so she knows it inside and out. So she does a really good job of walking you through. Now, the actual deliverable instructions here in the assignment and test folder, assignment 4, I've just opened it now. Okay, the due date is end of week 12. So if we go here, we're week 10 right now, 11, 12. It's due the 5th of August. Okay. Now, there's 5 steps for these instructions. It's important for you to note all of them. So I'll just go through it with you as together. Yeah. So we've already got step 1 done. We've logged in and you're able to access ArcGIS. You're going to use the 3-part video series produced by the guest lecturer, Jasmine, from Esri Canada, to create your operations dashboard product. And so you're not only creating a dashboard, you're also creating insights. So she talks about what insights are, but they're like custom metrics or KPIs. Okay, and then those two things, the map and the dashboard and the insights, you're going to then combine, okay, together, your dashboard and your insights, okay, those two visuals, all those features that you make into what's called a story map. All right. The COVID-19 case data that you're using from that is a snapshot from earlier in the pandemic, so it's not necessarily like accurate, but just for the purposes of our analysis and our story, consider the findings to be current. All right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to create a short story map. I'm saying 4 pages max. Okay. And what I mean by 4 pages is when we go to these examples of story maps, like this coastal flooding here. Okay, obviously you have your title page. That's not going to count towards the 4 pages, but this would be like 1 page of scrolling. Then I'm going to go to like a 2nd page of scrolling, 3 pages of scrolling, and 4 pages of scrolling, right? So this one is a very long story map that goes through like a ton of different, yours is not going to be that long. If you walk through the video, you'll be fine. But basically those 4 pages or those 4 paragraphs of text that you're going to create along with visuals, it's going to be an introduction, your analytical findings from the data, and then a conclusion. All right, that features the dashboard and the insight cards that you've constructed through the video. All right, you're going to bring these images in and include text to help frame, and this is the key here, that's why I've bolded it, to tell the story. All right, because that's the skill here. We're writing a story. We're looking for the ability. This is the main thing with this assignment. I'm looking to see that you have the ability to present analysis through visuals on ArcGIS. All right, so you can pull out the relevant stats or findings from the data and present it in a paragraph statement. So these insight statements that you derive from the analytical elements, the best way to do it is pair a visual, okay, with a statement that wraps around it, right? So the best way to think of it is like a scientific paper. When you write your scientific paper and then you embed a figure into that paper, it's like that. So we're going to embed a visual, and that visual ties in with a paragraph of the finding, okay? So it's more of a focus on a written exercise than it actually is a technical exercise, right? Because you guys all have the technical capability, but there's also a skill here in data storytelling that's actually transferable from application to application. So whether or not you're in Tableau, Power BI, or ArcGIS, being able to tell that story, make it emotional, make those connections to the reader, make it user-centered, right? So that they have control, and focus on your writing, okay? It doesn't need to be super long. You can break it up into 4 paragraphs. So you can have your intro, you can have what's my story about, what is the data telling me, okay? You can cite it, and then your 2 paragraphs after that, okay? What are your findings? What's relevant to the reader? Build out those findings into a story. And then your fourth paragraph is going to be the conclusion, your beginning, your middle, your end, right? So we've talked about that a bunch, that narrative. Make it an interesting story on the actual data. So if your data is on COVID-19, okay, don't talk about COVID-19 vaccination rates, right? If it's just about COVID-19, talk about COVID-19 and the infections or whatever, who's sick. If your data is on COVID-19 vaccination rates, then talk about vaccination rates, right? So stay true to the data. That's the other thing. In the past, students have done separate data sets or found multiple data sets and combined, and then they've taken the liberty of telling that story, right? So if you wanted to talk about COVID-19 and vaccination rates, all right, then you can do that, right? Tell that story with whatever your data is, but just stay on topic, okay? Multiple data sets are okay, and just you have to find the data. You have to find that open data source. It's not supposed to be like this assignment isn't supposed to be a huge burden. It's 10% of your final mark. It's just a touch point for me to see that you understand how to use ArcGIS, all right, which is kind of like our third option that you might come across in industry. So it's not to be a huge pain in your butt. You don't have to spend, it's not going to be like 6 days of work. It's most realistically going to be 3 or 4 hours of work. You're going to sit down. There's about an hour and a half of video instruction that you'll follow along with, which will probably take you 3 to 4 hours, which is what a lot of students have said in the past. So it's pretty quick. It's mostly visuals, and then you're just adding that story to the data set as you go into the story map. Okay, as long as it has flow and there's logic to your flow, right, with your beginning, your middle, your end, and it makes sense. That's how I'm grading this, right? I'm reading a story, so I want to feel like I'm, you know, as the user-centered design or as the reader, I want to feel like it's like that it makes sense to me, right? So obviously you want to check your grammar and that everything makes sense with how you're telling the story. The deliverables for this, okay? So as I'm going through here, be sure to include your name and the title page of your story. Ensure that the story you read about is the findings on your data, so that's the staying on topic. And then incorporating statistical findings into each text element as you're telling that story. Step 5 is, okay, the story map you create is going to live on that cloud. So this is going to be the deliverable. So it's to your account only. So I can't actually see it. When you create insights, it's going to say I don't have access to your insights. So you can share the URL with me, but it doesn't ensure that I actually have access to it. So what I like to do is you'll give me the URL anyways, and I'll be able to still read the text, but I also want a screen grab, okay? So you can, you know, take screenshots like this of the entire page, you know, copy to your clipboard, and then scroll down and then take another screenshot of your entire page like that. Or I've posted a link to a Chrome extension called Go Full Page here. And what Go Full Page does, okay, if you use the extension and you do a scrolling screenshot, all right, what it will do is it will scroll for you, and it will take, now this one is duplicated for some reason. But if I go to another page, let's say this one, it'll just do a full page screenshot, right? So it'll scroll for me. You can see it's automatically scrolling and it's grabbing the screenshot. It's going to put it into one file like this. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can read it. You can download it as a PDF and attach that as the deliverable.
I think we can simply do that thing also by right-clicking on the website and then print.
So there's issues with that. There have been issues with printing it to PDF. So there's an issue with that on the Esri or the ArcGIS platform. So that's why I've said it's also okay if you just want to do a string of screen grabs in Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, and then, you know, just as long as I can see it all for what it looks like from your account, but also give me the link. So those two things. And you can see the marking schema here. So here's your dashboard and insights from the video lesson, 3 marks. There's an introduction, a body, okay, that includes content describing your analytical findings from the data visualizations, and a conclusion. That's the story, okay? That's where I'm looking for those paragraphs of text that make sense with logic and flow, that you're trying to be compelling to tell a story from your data. And then your story map includes graphics, formatting, and design elements. Okay, so it looks professional. It looks like you've put some effort into actually finalizing those details and making it look complete. All right, 2 marks for that. So the total is 10 marks, 10%. And that is pretty much it. So I'm looking for qualitative skills here. All right, you might be curious why you have to do like some writing for this assignment, but it's because that is a skill that is actually looked for in the industry. They're looking for these data architects that can build a full solution from beginning to end, right? And it's transferable. It's from any application. Okay, having the skill to tell a story and make it compelling to the audience. It doesn't matter what app, if you're using Tableau or Power BI. It can be any app, but if you have that skill, that's what we're looking for here, okay? So coming up with that content, creating that content, and creating that user-centered design focus that we've talked about. Questions? Yeah.
It's basically an essay.
Yeah, but mixed in. Yeah, exactly. So it's like combining that storytelling skill with the visuals.
I have a question. So for data set, is there a limitation? Or
So
you can just find in that set?
The bare minimum, if you want, okay, is just using the COVID data set from the videos. And you can create a COVID dashboard, just like how she walks you through in the Drive videos like this. Okay, and there's the link in the weekly learning in the weekly folder, just using this. If you want to use a different data set and you want to focus on something completely different, that's fine, but just email me what it would be, and then I can approve it. All right. So if you just want to stick with the instructions, then just do it like this and use a COVID-19 data set. If you want to use more than one data set, then yeah, just email me, say, hey, I want to use this, and then I can approve you for that, and I can look into it.
So default data set is COVID-19, and we're going to build similar to
yeah, you follow the videos, right? Like the point of this isn't to be a huge burden to you and create more work, because I know this is a busy time of the semester. You guys have a ton of other submissions and other classes. So it's just, like I said, it's just that touch point for me to understand that you understand how to use ArcGIS and that you're familiar with it, just in case you come across it.
Can we use ArcGIS in business or just for students?
Yeah, so I was talking about the differences, like in a business, you'll probably see ArcGIS if you ever worked in something like forestry or environmental planning or like urban planning for municipal government, because it's really hyper specialized for spatial analysis. So they have like that 3D viewing for, you know, municipal, if you want to do like rezoning or those kinds of things, that's unmatched in the industry, right? So there's not really a competitor in that industry. So if you're in that sector, like the environmental program here at Georgian uses ArcGIS because it's really good at that specific skill. So if you're in that industry, you'll see it. But if not, I think you can create like a free account, and then they give you like a trial or they limit what you have access to. But yeah, if you're in industry, you might see it. You might not. You'll most likely see Tableau, but yeah. Any other questions? So it's due August 5th. Any questions from people online on Teams?
So our deliverables just PDF, right?
It's going to be the link, and then it's going to be the screenshot. Yeah. So the link, parts of it will still work for me, right? So if I click the link, I don't know if I have an example from last semester, but if I click the link, I would still be able to see, for example, like your title page and all of this stuff, right? And any of the text, I'll be able to see all that. But then something like this insight, it'll say, you don't have permission to view, like for me, because it's something you created.
Yes.
And it's secure from a user to user base. So I'll be able to see like images and stuff that you add, but like the actual insights, that's where the screenshots are helpful for me. Yeah, someone had a question online? Israel.
Yeah. Are we supposed to like select our own data sets? Or there is an existing data set?
Nope, you don't have to. You can just use the data set here. Okay, for the video instruction, you can just follow along and use this data set.
Okay. Do we have like details about the data so that's able to explain what it is when we are doing this storytelling?
Say that again, sorry.
I said, do we have a deep understanding of the data so that we'll be able to like speak more about it when we are doing a storytelling?
Yep. So like we just added this data set to our map here, right? And if you wanted to take a look at it, you can come over to the fields section, right? And we can understand a bit more about the fields. And I think, so what you're probably wanting to see is, let's see if I can find Esri open data. Like if we go here, I think it's this. I think where we're pulling the link from is something like this. And if you wanted to understand, I think it's this case data. There's provincial daily totals, provincial summaries. So you could go in here and then you can click the data tabs, view full details, and we can actually see what the data is, right? So like Alberta, Northwest Territories, and we can see all of the columns. We can see there's one active case in Ontario here, and this was updated. We can obviously change, we can go through the different dates, but this is way back in 2020. But is that what you're talking about, to actually understand the data like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I believe, so this one's actually deprecated, but if we go to the link, Service ArcGIS, Canadian Cases Sample, Feature Server. COVID-19 open data. I think it's coming from one of these data sets here. Case accumulation, compiled case details. We can view them like this. So yeah, you can search through here to actually understand the data. And then there was even a button, where was it? To actually open the data table. So let's see. That's just provincial. That's just the actual, the geographical polygons. Let's see here. So this is the API for the REST directory for, like, if you just take that link and you type it in here. Let's see if we can actually find where it's coming from. We can view the JSON, or we can view it in an ArcGIS map here. You can see the fields. You can understand a little bit about a little bit more about the data from here, or we can view the JSON and we can see that. But I think there's even a way, I might have to get back to you on this. I think there's even a way to view the data through here. Show table. Yeah, so you can go like this and you can view the table here. I can just close my layers. I can make this full screen and we can go through the actual data. This only has 728 records and we can see all of the information in our table here. We can refresh it because it's coming from an API. We can, filter out some of the fields, or you can sort them. So hopefully that's what you're looking for there. All right, Israel. So all I did was in layers. I just did click the 3 buttons and then just did show table. And then you can get some more insight into your data. Cool?
Do we have something like details if we press show properties? Does it show like
So that's just like properties for, I think for the map. So like setting the transparency for the actual data points. And then setting our visible range, enabling a time slider. Like that's just these properties coming up from here. Yeah, the other options, zoom to, rename, are just for the layer properties itself. But yeah, again, we have all these other options on this side. So if you want to make your data pop off, right, you could use a light gray canvas with the gray dots. You can change the color of your dots. And she shows you how to do all of that in the video, which is really good. So. All right, and then you can save it. Obviously here, save as, and then if I save it, okay, so if we save this as assignment 4, we can add some tags. We can go COVID-19. We can go health, COVID-19, health, summary, and then if we save the map, coming back to our home screen, we can view our projects. I believe it's in content, and we can see there's our project. So you save it, and then you can reopen it and continue working on it, back home, right? So kind of cool. Any other questions about the assignment?
Also, it was showing that it's only open, the subscription is for 13 days only.
Yeah, that was just for me for some reason.
No, for me also, like maybe for all of us.
Oh, okay, it did say that. So how did you see that? Because I want to see if I can get that to show me again.
Do we have to buy like subscription?
No, you shouldn't have to. Okay, here. Yeah. I'm going to contact IT support about this. So that's when I go to organization. I'm going to see. So it said it for you as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Sure.
And does it say it for you as well?
In my settings?
Yeah, if you go to organization.
For license, I don't.
It says your subscription will expire in 13 days.
GIS Professional Advanced.
Yeah, but do you get this pop-up warning when you go to organization tab?
Organization? Yeah, in 13 days.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to contact IT support. I'll make a little note of that.
Please, what tool did you use for the screen grab screenshot?
So the link is here. It's called Go Full Page. It's a Chrome extension, and it's in the assignment details. So you can download, if you click this link,
yes,
it'll take you to the Chrome Web Store. It's called Go Full Page.
Okay.
And it just does a full screen capture, and then you can download it as a PDF or just download it as an image.
Does it work with the Edge?
I don't know. I think you'd have to use Chrome.
Because my browser on my school laptop I'm using is Edge.
Yeah, it's a Chrome extension. So in order to use it on Edge, you might have to look for a different software.
So, but why can't we use other screen grabbing tool I have and convert everything to PDF and send to you?
Yep, that's totally fine. I was just giving this option because it's probably the easiest.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to just use another software and screen grab and then put it in a PDF, you can see that in the instructions. In the instructions right here, I have no problem. If I go to assignments and tests, assignment 4, it says here, I'm also fine with a string of screen grabs pasted in Microsoft Word or PowerPoint.
Good. Okay.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, you're welcome. No worries. All right, before we close off for the day, I like the rest of class time, I'll just give you to go through her video. I'm just going to grab attendance before I forget. So we've got her and Aaron. I'll put you here. And then Biode. Christopher.
Professor, you were saying this error, right?
No, the error I was getting was the.
No, the URL error. You said you have to take a screenshot.
Yeah, just 1 second. I'll come over in a second and look at it.
I was looking at the previous year's project. One of my Turkish friend made it.
Just wondering, there is additional or attendance.
No marks for attendance. It's just so that I can keep track. How did you show that error?
On dashboard, it says you don't have permission to access your resource. When you were saying.
If you were looking at like your friend's
Yeah.
submission? Yeah, so how did you find it? So let's see if I can find it here and show everyone. So if I search.
In members tab, I was looking at the Turkish name. So
In groups?
Clicked his name, and there was items, and I clicked view all.
How did you get there though? Like, were you in groups?
In organization.
Okay. Organization.
Yeah, members.
Oops.
Attila, his name. ATT.
Right, like if I click any of these though.
Yeah. He has like
4 items.
4 items, yeah, we will. You can see COVID-19, yeah.
Yeah, so you can see some examples of like last year's story maps here. Right, and then we can see a bit of a description. I always suggest you do a description, you change the title, and then you give a thumbnail. But yeah, if we view the story, there's probably things I can't see, like this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just an image. But, here, it's an insight. And if I skip through the whatever tutorial, it's telling me, oh, Benjamin, like create your first insight, because it's going to grab insights from my insights directory, from ArcGIS Insights. Now, for you, yeah, I can see this one fine, because this is just like the map. That's great. But for you, yeah, the insights, it won't actually show me the insights. All right. Now, also, don't do something smart where you think you can just go and like copy paste someone's work, because then that'll be pretty easy for me to tell if you've done that. So obviously you can see inspiration of other people through your organization, but try to practice your own storytelling techniques. All right.
Professor, how many more classes do you have because all this course is over?
How many more classes do I have with you? That's a good question. So we're week 10 right now in module 3. We have 11, 12, 13, 14. Now, week 11, we're going to talk about story point construction. We're going to come back to Tableau. And then week 12 and 13, I actually just leave open to you guys. It's more of like a check-in and guidance session. There's not a lot of new information that I can give you at that point in the semester to advance your Tableau skills, other than just like if you have questions specifically for things you can't figure out, then I can customize, like specifically help you with those things. But week 12 and 13 are going to be check-in and guidance sessions where I can engage with all of your groups on the final assignment. I would highly suggest you use the time in class and get me to, be involved in your group work, or at least, have some insight into what you guys are doing, so that I can approve the data sets you found, your story types, the analysis that you're doing. So that's week 12, and then week 13 is another week dedicated for you to do that final assignment, to work on that final assignment as a group. And then week 14, we do a recap, sort of. I answer any last minute questions, and, help you with any of those final questions you might have for your final assignment before the deadline. And then you submit it that night at midnight.
So in these last few weeks, you will be coming in person, right?
Yeah, I'll still come in person. Yeah, and then it's up to you to make use of how much you want to take advantage of, like how much I can help you, or not so. But yeah, so we've got a couple more weeks left of actual like new content, and then the last few weeks I'm dedicating and giving you guys time in class to work on your assignments, because I know it's super busy for you guys this time of year, so you'll have time to work on it.
So we can also do like interview questions. What do people, what companies ask for students, like
Yeah.
what they expect? Because in social data mining, we basically covered this last 2 weeks ago.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah, our professor basically gave us the questions, what were
Yeah.
like which countries ask which questions basically, or websites, web pages that basically ask interview questions.
Oh, that's really good.
Most common questions, because like for data analysis, if you're going that way, the most common questions are this, like the most common tools are like this, and in my company we were using this. I was also hiring as a
That's cool.
consultant, like blah blah blah.
Who's the professor for that one? That's
Professor Azda.
Asda.
Yeah.
That's his first name?
No, his last name. He's using his last name.
Do you know his first name?
Azda.
Shh.
S-H-R-E.
He's Turkish, right?
No,
Shahrir?
Shahrir.
Yeah, okay, I do know him. Yeah. No, he's good. Very cool. Yeah, no, we can do all of that stuff. Anything I can help you with in the final weeks. But yeah. All right, so that wraps it up pretty much for today. I'll end this recording as well. If you guys don't have any other questions about the assignment that I can clear up. No? Cool. Any other questions from teams online from you guys? Awesome. Cool. So yeah, I'll just end this recording.
Before
and
we
then...
end the class,
Oh,
there's just
yeah,
one
what's
question
up,
I
Nishant?
wanted to ask regarding the final project we have in data visualization, the group project.
Yeah.
Can we choose the data from Kaggle?
For the final group project, yeah, so you are going to come up as a group and choose your data set. Let me just get here.
Because you have mentioned
assemble
it
as a
in
group.
the open.
Say that again, sorry.
You have mentioned in the PDF that we need to find an open data. So does that mean we have to?
Yeah. Right, yeah, so Kaggle does have a lot of data sets that you can find. As long as it's something that's common interest to the group and it's discoverable on the internet, that has data that's retrieved as open data downloads. So if it's on Kaggle and the copyright allows you to use it in an open data set source and do your own visuals and analytics on it, as long as you're not breaking any laws and you're ethically ethically getting your data, then that's fine.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Draws at least 6 or 8.
I mean, that's up to you guys to determine whether or not you can get the analytics you're looking for to tell the story that you want to be able to tell. So like as you're going, if you're like, oh, we don't have enough data, then yeah, you might have to go find some more data sets. But yeah, cool. That's good, Nishank. Sweet. Awesome. All right, yeah, so I'll end the recording here, and then I can stick around if you guys have any other questions as you guys go through the video.